welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic, where we're coming to the end of Predator Month. I finally figured out how to keep the predators from hunting me. Trick is, you gotta give them something else to hunt. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Alien vs. Predator 2-pack, with the Warrior Alien and the Hunter Predator. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at these guys. Okay, so here we have the Alien vs. Predator 2-pack action figure set. These two were the last to come out of the first wave of action figures of this particular line. They were also the ones that came with the advertisement and mail-away offer for the Invisible Predator, aka the Ambush Predator. Out of this particular line of action figures, this Predator is the one that looks closest to the ones in the movie. Likewise, this alien is the closest representation of the alien that was in the first movie. Like I said before, none of these figures actually came with backstories on their boxes, so you were free to kind of make up whatever personalities you wanted for these guys. With the Predator, I always considered him kind of the young and up-and-coming hunter of the group, so he was the one that always had the most to prove and was the one that was most outgoing. I often had a similar backstory for the Alien action figure, where he was either the newest member of his hive, or he was the most fiercest warrior and the hardest one to beat. Alright, so let's take a closer look at this Predator first, and then we'll take a look at the Alien. As you can see, the Predator has the... let me adjust the camera first. This Predator has all the same features as most of the other ones we looked at, and his paint job is actually fairly good. That I would say I really like how the spotting's on here. Some of the other Predators in this first line don't have it. As you remember, the green one, the Jungle Fury Predator, was just pretty much all green and didn't have too much colorations or the spotted look on him. And the Crack Test Predator more had like a camo paint job on him. His armor is pretty standard. Like I said, he looks kind of like he just stepped out of one of the other movies. With a nice sculpting right here. The details get a little bit lost in some of this equipment, but you get the idea of what everything's supposed to be. His gun is a decent size. It's actually kind of more movie accurate. And as I said before, if you could kind of tell, they actually went the extra mile and actually did some sculpting on the feet here, which I thought was actually kind of nice, where he actually does look like he's more barefoot and running around in the jungle, as opposed to the other two, which are, it's just solid plastic and there's no detail on there. It just really shows that they went the extra mile with this particular figure. He has a standard 5 points of articulation, just as any other one. And if any of you had seen my review of the Invisible Predator, this is the actual original mold that they use, so and you can kind of see a lot more of the details on this guy. So just look and compare and contrast, and you get an idea of what's actually all on the Invisible Predator. Now, he actually comes with a lot more accessories and or well, a lot cooler accessories, I should say. He comes with his standard gun that this can actually also still fit in the Invisible Predator's hand, because like I said, they're the same mold, so he can actually hold that in here. An interesting thing is the gun handle is a little bit too small for his particular hand, so what they did, especially with this little bar right here, so what they actually did was actually separated his little finger right here so that bar can fit in there, and it actually gives it a really nice and comfortable fit. Because he came with a gun, I always used to call this guy Blaster for some reason, because I couldn't, even today I can't even remember the actual name that he has. I'll look it up in line and try to post it on the name. Now, he actually has a neat staff that actually comes with him, and this staff can actually pop off. I saw some little stress marks on this little peg, so that's why I'm trying to be careful with it now. But he has a little hole so where he can store his staff here, and the Invisible Predator also has the same little hole back there so he can hold it, and he can hold his staff here too, so you hold it from here or from down here, and gives him a nice another blunt attack instrument that he can use. And honestly, it kind of looks a little bit like one of the Klingon bat'leths, but that's what he comes with. Now, his mask is the most traditional Predator mask. As you can see, it has that smooth look to it without too many decorations or anything else like that. It does have this little crack up on the top here, so it does show some battle damage, which is kind of neat. I would have also liked it if it was smooth, but I also like the battle damages on them too, so it's just a thing to me too. I always like some things to look kind of pristine. And you can kind of see right here, there's like a little tiny little bump that comes on the side, which I guess was his lasers that he would use to track things that was synced up to his gun for when he would fire. Standard as always, they had the really molded details on the inside of the mask, so it really hugged the face really well, and once you put this particular mask on there, you have to kind of force it to come off. The face sculpt is actually really nice. Like I said, looks like any average Predator that you might see, so That was always nice. He has these nice little tubes that go all the way back into these little holes right here, so that actually gave another little bit more support to hold the mask on in there. Most of the other Predators in the line actually have these really nicely molded masks. It's just the Savage Predator that seemed to be lacking, and henceforth why I lost his mask. Anyways, that's been a look at this particular Predator. I'm pretty sure I think his name was the Hunter Predator, but don't quote me on that. I'll try to look it up online before I post this up. But this has been a look at him. So moving on next, we'll look at the alien. Okay, so here we have a look at the Warrior Alien. Now I know what a lot of you might be saying is that he looks too human with his humanish looking legs right here and feet. But if you look at any of the behind the scenes footage of the first Aliens movie, the creature really did have a humanish quality, and that seems standard because he came out of a human host. It was only in the shadows that you could kind of imagine the details and get a really scared feeling of what this creature really looked like. As I said before, he has more of this. The design is taken more from the Alien from the first movie, with a much sleeker head and no eye sockets. It was explained in some commentary that I looked up online that the alien had just been born and was just grew up pretty quickly, so it didn't have time to get any of the ridges or bumps or anything else like that I guess would pop up over in time. Now looking at these guys, I really like all the sculpted detail in these guys. It's like you can just see all the little veins, the tubes, these little ridges right in here that's wrapped around the exoskeleton. It just really shows that there's a lot of time and detail taken into these put into these guys. And even though these figures just have the 5 points of articulation, and they probably can't compare to a lot of the more multi-jointed figures of today, just the fact that all this detail was sculpted into for a kid's toy was actually still impressive. Now his feet are actually kind of not molded like the Predators, and you can kind of see, like I said, it has more of that humanish quality to it, but you can kind of overlook that because mostly it's up here that you're going to be looking at. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you hold this guy up to the light, the top part of his head is a little bit transparent, and you can kind of see some details that are put into the inside of this thing. You can't ever see a skull. I tried holding it up to the light and there's no real skull in there, but you can definitely see little ridges in the back there if you were to hold these guys up to, like I said, if you were guys to hold these things up to the light. So that was another little bit of detail that I thought made these guys extra cool. Another thing that I think is neat is they actually have the 6 fingers on here with the 2 thumbs and the 4 fingers right here, or 1 thumb and 5 extra fingers. So that was a neat thing that actually was to see on these guys. I actually never really watched the movies when I was younger. I didn't watch them until I was much older. I was really young when these things came out, and my cousin had told me, yeah, it's kind of scary, you don't really want to watch this. So my first introduction to the actual Aliens was through the toy line. It was only later that I made the effort, and I wasn't as scared of the movies because I had the action figures. I kind of knew what to expect. It wasn't until much later that I ended up watching and enjoying the movies. So anyways, this has been a look at the Warrior Alien.
Once again, thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen today, please feel free to leave a comment below, and any advice for the show will be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future. So long!